Okay, so you shared this really interesting source with us, an audio clip, right, from an English learning podcast.
That's right. Yeah, focusing specifically on asking for directions.
Which, sounds quite specific at first glance, but I think our goal here, our mission for this deep dive is really to pull out the bigger ideas.
Exactly. The stuff that works for anyone trying to navigate, tricky or unfamiliar situations, not just language learners.
Right. Building confidence, figuring things out when you're feeling a bit lost, universally useful stuff, basically.
Mm-hmm. And the source itself is called the English Podcast. Features two hosts, Jack and Emma. They call themselves English Learning Buddies.
Learning buddies. Okay, so let's jump in. What did you notice first?
Well, the thing that immediately grabbed me was how they started. They didn't just launch into phrases. They talked about that feeling, that slightly panicked feeling.
Oh, yeah, when you're totally lost somewhere new.
Exactly. And you don't know how to even begin asking for help. It's not just about language barriers, is it?
Right.
It could be a confusing airport, a massive building.
Totally. We've all been there. It makes it instantly relatable, doesn't it?
It really does. By tapping into that shared feeling of disorientation right at the start, it makes all the advice that follows feel much more grounded, more relevant.
Yeah, good point. And then Emma, she introduces this lovely analogy pretty early on.
Oh, the tree analogy.
Yeah. Learning English is like planting a tree, and you have to water it with baby steps every day.
It's such a simple picture, but really effective.
It is. It kind of clicked for me that any big, daunting task learning software, getting fit, whatever, it breaks down the same way.
Small, consistent actions. That's the key.
Those little efforts add up. It's an encouraging thought, that big changes really do start with those simple first steps.
And it's not just a nice idea, that baby steps thing.
Mm-hmm.
It actually ties into how our brains work, how we learn best.
How so?
Well, if you face something huge, you can get overwhelmed, right? You put it off or feel like you can't do it.
Definitely happens.
But breaking it down, like Emma suggests, into small wins, it reduces that mental load. You feel like you're making progress, achieving something. It works for learning pretty much anything.
Makes sense. Then Jack jumps in with a story, doesn't he? About Bangkok.
Yeah, a quick one. Getting lost, needing the train station.
And what did he do?
Just asked. Simply, Excuse me, where is the train station?
Mm-hmm.
And, well, it worked. Someone helped him.
It's funny how simple it can be sometimes. We overthink it.
We really do. It shows, first, the power of just basic communication, but also, maybe more importantly, that people are generally willing to help out.
Yeah, that's true. We build up these barriers in our heads thinking it has to be perfect.
Right. Jack's story is kind of about just doing it, taking action. Even if your question isn't perfectly phrased, putting yourself out there often gets results because fundamentally people want to help. It's often the best first move.
And that brings us nicely to the actual phrases they talk about. They start with what they call the magic phrase. Yeah. They really stress how important that polite opener is. And it's true everywhere, isn't it?
Absolutely. That little bit of politeness goes a long way when you're approaching a stranger for anything. It signals respect.
Definitely changes how people respond. Then they gave some really practical, everyday examples.
Like, where is the nearest ATM?
How can I get to the bus stop?
Is there a cafe nearby?
Yeah.
Stuff you actually need to ask.
Exactly. And they didn't just give questions, they also mention understanding the answers. Things like directional words.
Oh yeah, vital. On the left, on the right, next to the bank, across from basic building blocks for actually following the directions you get.
And crucial point, what if you don't understand the directions?
They covered that too. Simple phrases are key.
Like, sorry, can you say that again?
Or, sorry, I didn't catch that. It feels a bit awkward, maybe.
It can, yeah. But way less awkward than nodding, pretending you got it, and wandering off in the wrong direction entirely.
Totally. It's about making sure the communication actually worked, both ways. Asking for clarification is normal. It's necessary sometimes. It's okay to do it.
So true. Then they shifted gears a bit, talking about managing the nervousness around asking.
Ah, yes, the role-playing suggestion.
With a friend, yeah. They even did a little example of Emma as the tourist, Jack as the local, finding the train station again.
It might feel a little forced or artificial at first.
It could, yeah.
But practicing like that, in a safe space, it genuinely helps build confidence. It sort of desensitizes you to the real thing.
Takes the edge off the anxiety when you actually have to do it for real. You've run through it already.
Exactly. You work out the kinks, maybe anticipate what the other person might say, It gives you a bit more control, less fear of the unknown.
Beyond the actual asking, they had other learning tips too, didn't they? More general ones.
They did. Again, these felt like they applied much more broadly than just English learning.
Like the sticky notes, writing phrases down, putting them where you'll see them.
Yeah, visual reinforcement. And changing your phone language.
Oh, right, for immersion.
And watching videos with subtitles. Little ways to keep engaging with the new information consistently, but without huge pressure.
It's about creating that supportive environment for yourself, isn't it? Making learning just part of your day.
Exactly. Little bits of immersion, regular visual cues, they all help things stick. You can adapt those ideas for almost anything new you're trying to absorb or get used to.
One thing that really resonated with me was their chat about mindset.
The self-talk part. That was powerful.
Yeah, Emma suggesting you consciously switch negative thoughts, like I'm terrible at this, to something positive.
Like I'm getting better every day.
Yes. It sounds simple, maybe even a bit cheesy to some, but that internal chatter has such a huge impact on how we face challenges, doesn't it?
Oh, absolutely massive. What you tell yourself shapes what you believe you can do. If you're constantly negative, becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. You undermine your own confidence.
Whereas flipping that script, even if it feels a bit forced initially, can genuinely build resilience and, well, make you more likely to succeed.
It creates a foundation of self-belief, which is crucial for growth.
And tying into that, they finished up by talking about celebrating the small wins.
Yes. Don't just focus on the big end goal. Acknowledge the little successes along the way.
Like managing to ask for directions successfully or understanding just one sentence you didn't before.
It's easy to get bogged down feeling like you're not making fast enough progress.
So easy.
But recognizing those small victories, that's what keeps you motivated. It provides that positive reinforcement, that little dopamine hit that says, keep going.
It fuels the journey, essentially. Important for any kind of learning or change.
Definitely. It fosters that sense of accomplishment. You need to stick with it.
And their final thought really summed it up nicely, I thought.
The power of simple words.
Yeah. That you don't need complexity. Simple words work, both when you're talking to others.
And when you're talking to yourself. That internal dialogue again.
Right. It's a good reminder that perfection isn't the goal. Connection, understanding, progress. Those are the things that matter.
Well put. Simple, clear communication externally, and a kind, encouraging voice internally. That seems to be the foundation they're suggesting.
So when we boil down this deep dive, looking back at what Jack and Emma shared, it really comes back to a few core ideas, doesn't it?
It does. Asking for help, tackling something new, building that confidence, it often starts small. Baby steps.
And having the right mindset, being kind to yourself, basically.
They touched on so many useful things. Acknowledging vulnerability, breaking tasks down, politeness, clarity, practice, positive self-talk, celebrating progress. It's a great little toolkit.
So maybe the thought to leave our listeners with is this. Think about a situation where you feel hesitant. Maybe asking for help, maybe trying something new that feels a bit scary.
Okay.
What's your version of that what's that initial tiny step you could actually take?
That's a great way to frame it. Identifying that one small action inspired by Jack and Emma, that gets the ball rolling.
It might seem insignificant at the time.
But as we've heard, those small steps can lead to surprisingly big results and, importantly, a real shift in confidence.
Keep exploring. Keep taking those steps. We'll catch you on the next deep dive.